Hey mama, did you know you're a superhero? That's right, believe it. What's your superpower, you ask? Your intuition. We have a unique sixth sense for what our kids need and when they need it. My tribe and I call this mom sense. When you're a first-time parent, it's scary and lonely and so exhausting. I know this all too well. Hi, I'm Kanika Chadda Gupta. I'm a journalist, entrepreneur, and now a mother of 3, twin toddlers and a baby, or my 2-for-1 and BOGO special. I was thrown into the deep end of motherhood, and it was sink or swim. I made a plan of action with my husband, built my village, met the right people, asked a ton of questions, and have learned so much in these early years. It's okay if you don't have time to read all the parenting books out there. And if you're watching YouTube videos on how to increase your supply while nursing or pumping, and simultaneously posting in your neighborhood mommy group and buying diapers on Amazon. I've been there. That's why I launched my podcast for the mom on the go. You can passively listen when you're doing a drop-off in your minivan, heading to work on the subway, or cooking dinner for your family. I interview industry experts and real-life mamas on their mom sense experiences, tackling topics like what to expect when you're done expecting, dealing with mom guilt, how to teach your kids to meditate, rekindling your marriage, and how to master your 5-minute makeup routine. And you know what the best part is? Each episode has tangible takeaways, homework that's fun, so you feel somehow changed for the better after listening to it. Not to mention relatable stories, inspiring quotes, and the best product recommendations from fellow moms. #MomWin. Grab your latte that probably went from steaming hot to ice cold and take a listen to That's Total Mom Sense. So how many of you out there have been entertaining the idea of writing a book? It's a bucket list item for many of us. And as a journalist, publishing a book is on my vision board too, so I can relate. Have you become a thought leader in your field and are eager to share everything you know? Did you have an idea for a startup and live to tell your tale of struggle, triumph, and fundraising? Or do you want to publish a children's book to fill a gap in kids' literature? Or are you a mom on a mission who knows you have a higher purpose and publishing your personal journey is something you're just meant to do? Whatever your reason, we all know entering the publishing world is not easy, which is why so many of us are deterred right off the bat. That's why I am so excited to have Angela Engel on my show today. Angela Engel is recognized nationally as an experienced senior sales professional who promotes and places brands strategically in the marketplace. Her resume highlights her work with some of the most recognized publishing, baby, home, and textile brands. This includes Chronicle Books, Dwell Studio, Moleskine, and Cameron & Company. Angela's success in selling to key national and international retailers such as Nordstrom, Amazon, Costco, and Target has made her a sought-after expert in the industry. Her clients benefit from her dedication and passion, resulting in millions of dollars in revenue. Angela is an ardent cook, a lover of wine, and is passionate about exercising and raising her 3 young girls with her husband in Oakland, California. Angela is the founder of the Collective Book Studio, which is a full-service partnership publisher. The studio works with content creators to produce and distribute high-quality books in virtually every category. The team has collectively 30 years of combined experience working as authors, artists, and industry leaders to make dreams come alive on every page. They specialize in creating gorgeous, professionally designed, high-quality books, and their experience with national mass market and specialty retailers gets these books out into the world where they belong. Angela, thank you so much for being on That's Total Mom Sense.
Thank you for having me.
So I think that many of us who aren't from the literary world, I feel like all we know is you either self-publish or you get an agent, right? So tell us about that, the pros and cons involved.
Yes, that's correct. There, it seems that cut and dry, but it really isn't. So there's self-publishing, which I do think works for some. I think the pro there is that, first of all, you own all of your rights, so you own all of your assets and your writing, and you can come to market fairly quickly. I think the con there is what do you do next? Other than Amazon as an outlet and possibly your own platform, it's very, very difficult to figure out sales and distribution outside of that. And if you do, you have to run that business then, right? Get a warehouse, start shipping to retailers, collecting, and all of that stuff. And so you really have to step back and go, what was your ultimate goal? Was it to start your own publishing business, or was it to really, truly tell your story and do something else with your life that could elevate a different avenue for you and open up a different, literally just open up a completely new path that your life is supposed to take. I don't have a lot of experience in self-publishing, but that's sort of my take on it. The traditional, look, is awesome in so many ways of the team, the infrastructure that's in place at Simon & Schuster or Random House, Chronicle Books, Abrams. I mean, these are all fantastic publishers that I truly hold in high regard and I worked for. It's extremely difficult to break in unless you have a very large platform. Agents are really necessary, and I have friends who are incredible agents. But again, if you don't have a literary agent, then honestly, it's almost virtually impossible. And if you do have a literary agent, it could take 3 years unless you have a very large platform to get published, if you get published. And the advance could be pretty much nil. So you just spent, 3 years and, maybe you get an advance of $1,000 to $4,000.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And there's a lot of barriers to entry. I mean, if you're not a celebrity or haven't written a book before, why is an agent going to want to work with you?
There is a middle ground, which is what I do. I'm calling it publisher assisted. Some people call it a hybrid model. But basically, what it is you have an idea, you have a concept. Let's say it's about mom tips for the busy mom. Okay, that's your concept. Then we kind of take it from there, from creative development to writing, to editorial, to what should we hire an illustrator to design and layout, to all the technical production, and to market. Assigning it from everything for an ISBN on Bowker to the CIP data, which is the Library of Congress, acting as your publisher essentially and being your megaphone.
So who are some of your clients who happen to be moms? And, what are some of the books that they've come up with that you've helped them through?
One of my clients is Sue Groner. She wrote a book, 101 Ways to Rock Your World. These were parenting tips. She self-published. She sent me her book, and I just to get my opinion on it. And I actually really, really enjoyed the content to the point where I was reading it with my middle child, who's 8 years old today, and my 3-year-old in bed, and we were laughing, and it was just wonderful, except for I was struggling with the package. So her and I have been working together now, and we're retitling the book. I think our working title is 100 Ways to Parent with Sanity and Joy. Right. And we're redoing it from sidebars and tips to really making it a really useful book, as well as a gift book for young moms, or for moms who are on their 3rd or 4th child, who just need that daily tip.
Absolutely. I've actually had her on the show, and it was great. It was so nice to meet her, and we went through a lot of her top tips. And I feel like what was so fascinating to me was that you can apply it to kids of all ages. Like I have, 2.5-year-old twins and a 1.5-year-old, and she's an empty nester now with both our kids in college. And there were so many tips on there that it was like, okay, this applies to everybody. And so who are some of the other moms you've worked with, maybe in the children's book, arena?
Yeah, so I have another Hey Mama client who's been absolutely delightful to work with, which is she's writing a children's book called Gratitude the Great. Her main character is Frankie, a boy who embraces gratitude. So there alone, you have the superhero picture book and a boy who's really not sensitive and understanding, and yet rides a skateboard and wears a mohawk helmet and has that boy energy. So it's really nice to have, and that was what was so refreshing about Pamela and Rocco, her book. And when she came to me, it was actually just an email. Hey, I really could use some help on a publishing idea and endeavor with ISBN and just warehousing and all that stuff. And I just reached out like, hey, how could I help you? And I never expected that she would kind of jump on board and become a client. It was more of like, I just reached out to see if I could help from our network. And lo and behold, it's been just like an amazing journey with her. She's working with Summer Laurie, who's a top editor. She was a children's book editor at Tricycle and then Random House. They are just really, even to the point where they've developed the character of Hope, this girl now, to a relationship with Frankie. It's his cousin. And it's wonderful to see how these characters have developed, how the narrative has changed, and how open Pamela has been to our feedback, because she really wants this book to be the best that it can be.
What's the cost with the options that we discussed, from self-publishing to working with you in the hybrid model, or actually working with a publishing house? What are the costs involved?
So it really varies on genre, I think. And for example, a cookbook is going to cost a lot more just based on photography and recipe testing and development than it would a parenting or self-help kind of career development book. So it really, I start off with, what is the client great at? What are they bringing? So maybe the client is a photographer and their photography is absolutely incredible, but they're not a writer. So we have to hire a writer, or they're a very strong writer and they need everybody needs an editor. So it really varies. I mean, it can cost anywhere from $5,000 for a creative fee all the way up to $80,000, just depending on what we're doing with the book. And then the printing can really vary, because, there's an art book that we're doing with vellum and bells and whistles or gatefolds. I mean, that the printing alone can be, $20,000 to $40,000. But that the institution or the person would know that, and we'd already have a plan in place of where this book is going when we're doing a big book like that. With the parenting, it can really vary on the pricing, but I have an incredible technical production manager who comes from Chronicle and Weldon Owen, and he really works hard. We all work really hard to get the best pricing for our clients with the printer.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. So there are certain books out there that sadly don't get their due. And there are others that just, hit those bestseller lists and they're on New York Times and, number one on Amazon. Is there a formula for that?
There's something called BookScan that reports into the New York Times, and retailers such as Costco, Target, Barnes & Noble, independent bookstores report in to that system their point of sale, and Amazon as well. And then that's often how a title becomes a New York Times bestseller. It's really about the sales being back and reporting. So that goes back to distribution, essentially, and why sometimes people in self-publishing are having those hurdles is because you've cornered the market into Amazon often. So how are you going to break into the other channels that are reporting in to make you a New York Times bestseller? That's why traditional is such a key player, is that they have that distribution network, that sales force, that marketing force, so that you can become a New York Times bestseller. And I'm not saying that independent publishing does not do that. They do that all the time. I have been blessed in my life to work on multiple New York Times bestsellers. But from independent publishing houses, when I think of as 7 Stories, did a book with Noam Chomsky on 9/11, and it was just incredible to see this small little publishing house in New York become a New York Times bestseller. but it does take still a sales force and the network to make that happen. And
Right.
I mean, if you want me to tell you about Amazon, so Amazon is different. Amazon a lot is demand. I've seen success, honestly, in self-publishing becoming within their categories into in sort of what Amazon's saying is a bestseller. There's so many ways. There's pay to play there. What we call co-op. Which is, dollars in. Amazon will ask for money, and then, how many they click back, and you kind of can rise that way. There is really smart ways to go about creating demand. I've seen, like, one thing I will recommend to my clients, I'll kind of give you kind of a tip, it would be have a big party before your book is even available, and encourage all of your friends and your whole entire network to buy the book on Amazon, and it will spike demand. What that means is that also the wholesalers will see that, and they may decide to order your book as well. And then all of a sudden it's like, wow, there's 700 people wanting to buy this book. Pre-orders are really key, and it's all data driven.
So how do you publish an audiobook?
I have not sold audiobooks in so long. It's almost unbelievable. So I used to actually sell audiobooks like 20 years ago. And honestly, at this point, I would probably say that there are many companies that do that, and we would just partner with them to create one for you. But we ourselves don't create audiobooks.
Sure. Are there any myths or misconceptions related to the industry that you can clear up for us?
There's this concept, everyone can write a book, right? So that's in the self-publishing. And I have to be honest, like, not everybody can write a book, right? So but we all have a story, and we all have maybe an idea, or we have, I love working with entrepreneurs. Like, there's a huge reason they've started something, so they have a story. But I think that there is this kind of myth or misconception that everyone can create a book, and I don't think that's true. I actually think that the team of professionals that I work with, that we each have a specialty, from text editor to creative designer to whatever that specialty is, and that's what creates a book, a whole entire team.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can someone come to you with just an idea for a story and like no other groundwork done, or do they have to have some sort of like manuscript in place?
Absolutely. They can literally have just a concept. Liza Gershman, my creative director, is probably the most incredibly creative human I've ever met. She could you could literally say, okay, I have this idea about aliens coming in, and they're going to land here, and we're going to all make cupcakes with them, and I want to do this creative cupcake crafting book with aliens. Okay. Fine. Liza will help you write that. But literally, no, I'm serious. Stepping back, it might just be simply that I want to create a craft book with how to do crafts with my children. But I don't even know where to start, other than I take all these Pinterest boards and I do it at home.
Wow, that's great. And tell us about your team.
When I started the Collective Book Studio, I noticed that many of my colleagues are freelancing back into large houses, whether that be Dean Burrell, who had over 20 years of experience at Chronicle Books and was there as managing editorial and adult. Amy Treadwell, 18 years at Chronicle Books in food and wine. Elizabeth Saki, she came from a literary agency and was at Chronicle Books as well. Chris Hemaseth, in production manager, was at Chronicle and Weldon Owen. Summer Laurie, who I used to work with at Tricycle Press, which is part of 10 Speed Press, and now it's Random House. She is an incredible children's book editor. From Liza Gershman, who's come on as our creative director, has written 14 books. I just continually am blessed with the amount of talent that has come on board and that we can provide to clients.
So, what are some of your top tips and takeaways that you have for someone who's just getting started?
Make a list. Who is your consumer? Who is your audience? Just make that list for you. I think that's going to better serve you of what your end goal is with this book. And you're going to see, like, because it's not everybody. That's not the answer on your list. And really drill down to what you're trying to achieve. It might be that you want to do good in the world and you want to be able to donate proceeds to an organization that you care deeply about. Maybe it's about climate change and you want to write a story on the environment and give money back. Maybe it's about health related issues that you've had yourself, and you now want to be able to really work with children who might have that same condition. Like, whatever that is, drill down there, write yourself that list, and I think that's going to help in so many ways. You kind of either deciding, is it time for me to get a literary agent? Is it time for me to kind of talk with a hybrid publisher assisted company like a collective book studio, or is this something that I can do on my own?
Okay, so tell us about your family life. We'd love to hear about you and your three girls.
So I live in Oakland, California, which I love. I married someone from Berkeley, so we didn't move far. It's just the weather, possibly because I'm from Minnesota originally, is fantastic. I have a daughter who's in junior high. She just started middle school. I have a second grader, and I also have a 3-year-old. So life is hectic. Yeah, life is hectic. They're spaced out. There's 8 years between my oldest and my youngest child, which sometimes is so awesome. I have like a built-in mother's helper, but my husband runs his own business, and so we both are entrepreneurs, and which has both its amazing strengths that we can take time off to be with the family, but it also sometimes means that we both are working around the clock because that's what we do. Right. So that's sort of like, we have a garden. We have chickens in our backyard. We love to. My husband and I both like to exercise. We ran a marathon together, actually. And
are your girls interested in writing? Are they like creatives at heart too?
Well, my oldest, she goes to Oakland School for the Arts. She is in a directing and playwriting class as we speak. She is a theater buff, and yes, she loves to write. My middle, is also extremely sensitive and creative, and she has asked several times. She'll come home with things she's done at school and ask when I'm going to be publishing it.
Yep, she's got that inside connection right there.
Yeah. And I think my 3-year-old, who knows what she's going to be, but whatever it is, I'm sure we will watch her talent. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. And how do you personally manage your time, from, your own company and your kids and running the household? It's, it's a juggle. And how do you do it?
I take breaks. I do. Yesterday I went to the acupuncturist at 6:30 p.m. I really do. I forgive myself and I take breaks, whether that be, I make it a real priority to every Thursday at 6:30 in the morning, I take an exercise class. It's like, and if I don't, I really feel that I schedule it like I would a therapy appointment. I make sure I take time to have coffee with a friend that I really, or a phone call that I really need. That's really how I manage my time. It's really valuable. When I work. I make sure of that. I schedule help for myself. I have real office hours. And then I also take much needed breaks and R&R.
So can you tell us about a mom sense moment that you've had?
Almost 10 years ago, I was traveling every other week, selling large accounts. I was working at Chronicle Books at the time. and it was my daughter's second birthday, my oldest second birthday. And I had worked so hard that weekend. Her birthday party was on Sunday, but I felt like from Friday and Saturday, from cooking to doing the cake, like wanted to make everything right, wanted to really try to be what they, at that time, it's 12 years ago, felt like this is what a stay-at-home mom would do, right? And I was just flustered, and I had to leave, I think the next day, all of my sales projections were in, and I was supposed to study what I was going to sell this book for, and to which account it was going to go into. So I couldn't be, once I had done all of this work, I actually couldn't be at the party in the way I wanted to be there. My brain was actually all about Monday morning. And so I laid in bed that night, and it was like 11 p.m. with my husband, and I just said, I have to figure out how to do this differently. I really do. And it was that mom moment that I said, I think I'm just going to take this leap of faith. I think that's what's gotten me here today, is just taking like a step back sometimes and being like, it's okay to say, hey, I want to be a mom for a moment. I can take a break from my career. I can do my career a little differently. Like, that's okay to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have to be so attuned to whatever those needs are. And it's like, if you feel you want to prioritize your kids for any moment in time, you do it. You listen to that voice in your head and just do it. That's so inspiring, because it's taking a huge risk, and you did it, and you've come out on top. You have this life
thank you. Now. No, thank you. No, I do owe it to my oldest child. One other thing I really want to say is there was a moment I quit everything, and I was about 6 months I wasn't working, and I got really frustrated with the kids, and I didn't even have my third baby yet. It was just 2 kids in the car. And I said, just go ask your dad. He makes all the money, right? I was really just not a nice self. And my oldest daughter, she was about 6 years old, and she says to me, Mom, you're very successful. You could make a lot of money. I believe in you. And I was like, those are those moments where I was like, I was happy that my daughter saw her young mom build her career, and also take a step back and say, wait a second, I can build something that's different and unique that my daughters will be proud of. And they can say, hey, my mom does this.
Yes. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh my God, I'm getting choked up just thinking of your 6-year-old say that to you. She's
really a great reminder of what I can do.
Yeah, she just gets you.
Let's not forget our quote of the day.
Is there a quote that you live by, and maybe one that you tell those in your mom tribe, or your kids, or something that's kind of had an impact on you?
The writer Alberto Manguel, he wrote a book called A History of Reading. And his quote is, life happened because I turned the page.
Oh, wow.
That whole book I just love, and everything he writes is magnificent. But he really does talk about the book as this, that we don't, if you think about what is your favorite book, it's often based on a memory. Maybe you were reading it at a coffee shop and you met this person you fell in love with as you're spilling coffee on the cover, and it's full of coffee stains. And he talks about that in the book, that a book really is it's a part of who we are. It's an extension of us.
It's now time for Mom Haul, when we share products we love.
So what is that product for you?
So from Origins Company, I'm actually really into this gel moisturizer right now, and I had no idea. I got a sample actually at a Hey Mama event, and I was like, whatever. And now a gel moisturizer, that's weird. But actually, I love it.
What's the, okay, it's by Origins. Okay, very cool. I love it.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah. And we'll post that link on my site. So that's great.
I know, and I didn't even think I was gonna but I'm gonna send it to you. It's like a ginseng ultra. Anyways, I'll send it to you. It's actually really great. And I'm surprised because usually gel, I always think it's like supposed to go under your eyes or wherever, but this is a gel instead of a cream moisturizer that I really like.
So my Mom Haul product is a jewelry organizer, and it's by BB Bro Trade, and it's essentially a hanging organizer, so you can put it in your closet. And I recently just went through all of my earrings and rings and like long necklaces and chains, and organized it all into this thing. And I feel like we all have beautiful accessories, I'm sure, but when they're tucked away in a drawer or in their jewelry boxes, like you just forget what you have. So this thing just has it out on beautiful display, and it's like, okay, I know what I'm wearing with this outfit, so it's helped me out. Yeah. So we'll link that.
That's awesome. I want to tell you one little thing, and you don't have to put this in your podcast, but then you have to go. But my husband actually built me something. He took an old frame, like a huge old art frame, and like mesh, and he made me this huge thing that hangs on my wall where I string all of my earrings so I can see everything.
Oh wow, that's so
like
cool.
This beautiful antique gold frame, and it's like entire wall.
Very cool. So where can my listeners find you?
So my website, which is The Collective Book Studio, and it's actually thecollectivebook.studio. We also are on Instagram at The Collective Book, and as well as on LinkedIn and Facebook at The Collective Book Studio.
Perfect. Yep. And we will link all of your URLs on my podcast. Thank you so much, Angela. This has been so informative. I mean, any of you out there, if you want to publish a book and you just don't know where to start, this was the episode for you, because hopefully we've provided you some clarity and direction. Thank you, Angela, for being on the show.
Thank you. This has really been fun. I appreciate it a lot.
I hope you enjoyed my chat with Angela Engel of the Collective Book Studio. I'm sure we all have those creative wheels in our heads turning now about what book we want to write. And you can do it, mama. And while you're at it, write to me at thatstotalmomsense@gmail.com. I'd love to hear what you think of my show. I read everyone's emails, and I am honestly so humbled by your feedback and reviews. So keep them coming. Follow me on Instagram at Kanika, KANIKAXOXO, where I promote all my episodes. Remember, always trust your mom sense. Stay strong, Supermamas. Bye.
That's total mom sense.